Recording? Hold on, I check. Let's see. Yes, that is recording. Okay.
So you want to start with jokes, singing?
I know that being Irish, I should have jokes, but I need a few beers in me to actually remember any jokes. So yeah, look, I'll introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Doyle. I'm the General Manager for ANCA Manufacturing Solutions. Yeah, I'm called Nicholas in Thailand because that's my birth cert, and being a director on the company, you have to use your official name. You know, in Ireland, my friends call me Nicky. In Australia, everyone was calling me Nick because they like to shorten everything right down. But in Thailand, yeah, everyone seems to know me as Nicholas. But yeah, I'm the general manager and director for ANCA Manufacturing Solutions based out of Thailand. Our headquarters is in Melbourne, Australia. And yeah, my boss, Martin Ripple, the CEO, I report directly to him in Australia. So a little bit about ANCA Manufacturing Solutions. We were celebrating 20 years this year. This is a really big year. We've been 20 years in Thailand. You know, ANCA started by, moving some of their production to Thailand for some of the sheet metal and the canopies, and was testing the water with Asian production. And it went really well. They're very happy with the type of quality and delivery that they got and the cost. So they then migrated across electrical assembly, and then that went well. And they started, now they're building full CNC machines over here. And we've been based in Thailand for about 20 years. ANCA Manufacturing Solutions was originally called Tinfish, 20 years ago. When I first came to Thailand, Tinfish was rebranded to be ANCA Sheet Metal Solutions. And then about a year and a half ago, we rebranded again to be ANCA Manufacturing Solutions. And that was just basically to take advantage of the full capabilities of the ANCA group. So we have ANCA Motion doing all of the high-end technology, printed circuit board assembly, production, design. A lot of that's coming out of Taichung in Taiwan. So we utilize their knowledge for software and for PCBAs for our customers. We have ANCA CNC machines. So their capabilities will be more in precision assembly, process control, quality assembly, and we leverage that as well as their electrical assembly point of view, and basically what started out as a sheet metal company, over the past 20 years, we've slowly evolved to be doing a lot more than just sheet metal. Right now, this is the first year that our sales for our external customers is actually higher than ANCA itself. And that's just a testament to how quickly that we are growing and the type of capabilities that we're offering to our customers. And, what would originally say, for example, some of our customers, they would get us to start with doing a sheet metal enclosure, and then they'll be happy with the quality, happy with the delivery, and then that kind of evolves to being, hey, we have ANCA Motion, they do all this printed circuit boards, how about we help you out there? We can give you benefits in lead time reductions, cost savings, reducing the number of POs, one order, and then that evolves into, more integrated box build assemblies and more work. Other customers, they'll be sourcing just sheet metal from us, and then they'd realize, oh, I've got all these other suppliers in Thailand, but I really find it very difficult to communicate with them. I find it really difficult to, get my deliveries on time. And it was affecting us too, because we would have customers who we would do a full container's worth of work, and we'd be ready to ship it for the month-end close. And we couldn't ship the container because the other suppliers that we were working with didn't have their products ready on time. So again, we kind of said, how can we help the customer out and help ourselves? If we were to manage those suppliers for the customer, then their workload gets better. We can ensure delivery for us on time, so we get our sales according to our forecast, and it helps us out. And that's just evolved to us going from sheet metal to sourcing components, electronics, electrical, box build, assembly, and that value proposition that we're offering customers has really been recognized by those customers, and we're seeing that in the sales that we're getting. We're seeing that customers want that value add, and it's something that we're proud to offer them. And that's, for me, been really exciting over the past 4.5 years, I think I've been in this role, to see that transition, come full circle, which has been really good. Yeah.
So, what your proudest achievement?
Wow. What is my proudest achievement? I've been working with ANCA for 10 years. I started in ANCA doing CNC machining with, the manufacturing engineering team over there, so helping to do cost savings and improvements on their production processes. And that went really well. I love doing that, and, every day I'd see the owner walking around, he'd be sticking his head in the machine going, how's that machine going, etc. But I think my proudest achievement basically was, ANCA needed to increase the size of their facility in Thailand. They tripled the size of the facility in Thailand. And I came over with about 3 months planning. Spent 3 months planning, looking at the new facility, building that facility, and then migrated that whole production across into the new facility in 3 months. So 3 months of planning, 3 months of implementation, getting the project under budget and on time into a brand new facility for me was something that was completely outside of my comfort zone. It's not something I'd done before, but to manage a project at that scale, and at a time when ANCA was the highest sales I've ever had, for me was a really big challenge, and something that I really relished to step up into that challenge, and I loved it. I really enjoyed, working with the Thai people and the culture in Thailand, and that kind of made me want to stay. I ended up, the operations manager at the time, Ryan Higgins, he ended up needing to go back to Australia, so I ended up taking over as operations manager there. And, to build the factory and the facility with that management team to later, be the operations manager for the same team was a really, for me, a really big achievement. And I was really proud of what I did there. Yeah. Can I share about the culture? The culture in AMS? Yeah, look, the culture in ANCA I found really inspiring. Like, I really enjoyed the fact that, when I started, I would see all these issues and all these problems, and I found it really cool that when I had a solution for it and said, look, this is the issue, this is the problem, that's the solution, this is how much it's going to cost, but there's the business case, the company was like, yep, that makes sense, off you go. And it was never that simple, but, ANCA was always really very supportive of new innovations, new ideas, new processes. And for me, I think that I'm a bit of an ideas guy, right? I like to come up with new, innovative ways of doing something and join the dots. And for me to have that freedom in ANCA in Australia was amazing. And, brought in new machinery, brought in automation and robotics, brought in new measurement technology. That was all amazing for me, and I think that culture of just allowing me to have a bit of freedom was something that I really enjoyed. And the same in Thailand, having that freedom to design the factory with the management team and figure out how they wanted the factory layout. And, it was a learning curve for me as well. I've really enjoyed that culture of learning, innovation and growth, and that's something that's, throughout ANCA. I think in AMS, or ANCA Manufacturing Solutions, I'm the general manager director, so I have probably, a little bit of a part to play in it, but I'm hoping and I believe that the culture in AMS is a bit more freer, it's a bit more relaxed, right? I want us to have fun. I really try to work with the team on how we can engage, how we can have fun, have offsite activities that allow us to think and expand our minds and look at ways for us to develop our coaching, mentoring, training experiences with each of the management team, but in a way that's not structured and organized and robotic, but in a way that's really relaxed. So I think from an AMS point of view, I think we have equal amounts of fun, but we work super, super hard. And I really enjoy that. From a Thailand point of view with culture, I'm probably going into too much detail. From a Thailand point of view with culture, I worked in Ireland for many, many years. I learned to be a CNC machinist and programmer, and was a supervisor over there. I've worked in Australia for about 8 years, and I've worked in Thailand now for about 8 years as well. And for me, the culture in Thailand is amazing. The people are super friendly. When you ask to work on a project together, there's full engagement, full cooperation. There's no fighting back. There's no, bully tactics. There's nothing. It's just, this is a fun environment to work in. This is what we need to do. Let's, dig down and do it. So and the Thai people in general are, it is the land of smiles for a reason. You come to work and everyone's laughing and smiling and having a laugh, but they take their job very seriously. And I love that mix of having fun, but equally, being serious about what you do. And, the team here take it really serious.
So, what's a memorable moment?
Memorable moment. The last 4.5 years for me have been a roller coaster. Like going from an operations manager to a general manager was a big step for me. And I've had so many moments. Like, you could write a whole book on the last 4.5 years of my experience here in Thailand, to be honest. Memorable moments, I've had too many. Having people giving me, headache tablets for gifts, because it's, I'm celebrating 1 year in work, to buy me a potted plant that I let almost die. A lot of the excursions and activities where we've had offsite days where we had chickens strapped to our feet, and, having meetings where we're just having fun. I wish I could answer that question better. Yeah, let me think about it and come back to you. Memorable moment. I do remember the moment that we hit the highest sales ever, highest profit ever, highest, all in 1 month. That was a major achievement. And I think the team did an amazing job to do that. But yeah.
So, you want to share about technology, strategy?
So technology strategy, 4.5, 5 years ago, we had a facility with limited automation. Some of the machines were new, some of the machines were pretty old. And we've saved like 40% on our electricity bill. We've saved probably more than that on gas. I think it's 70% on gas. Every investment that we've made into technology has been about how can we go out with the old and in with the new, but in a way that gives us major benefits. Benefits in automation, benefits in power savings, benefits in connectivity, efficiency. So, we've in the last couple of years, we got in robot welders, we've had in a stacker on the laser machines, we've got a lot more automation. We've brought in massive amounts of software packages that helps with our PLM system with 3D Experience and SolidWorks. We're upgrading QAD at the moment, so we have API access to link that with everything. The technology in AMS is just getting better and better every day, and the team here are really good at coming up with innovative ways of connecting all these different dots and go, hey, I've got this software that does this. If I could just make it talk with that, then we can save this amount of time and reduce that lead time for the customer. James mentioned it earlier on that we're heavily focused on the customer experience, and we know that in the current market, customers want quotations as quick as possible. They want their prototypes made as quick as possible. They want everything at the right price. They want delivery on time. And we're doing everything we can to get in the right technology at the right price point to do that. Not to make it more expensive than their current suppliers, but to make it cheaper than their current suppliers and to deliver the quality that they expect. And that innovation and technology is something that we're continuously working on. We have some really big plans for the next 1 or 2 years as part of our 2030 strategy. So, yeah. Way. If anyone knows me, they know I'm a bit of a geek. So it's like, how long is a piece of string? Vision of the future could be 2030, which we have a clear strategy and roadmap for between now and 2030. If you go now past 2030, there's so many things going on between Ukraine and Russia and Donald Trump and tariffs and, Russia and Europe and AI and humanoid robotics, quantum computing. We could easily see humanoid robotics in production in the next 5 years. And, at $20,000 to $30,000 per robot, that could equal, something that's quite affordable for most people. So I think vision for the future, I can really see decentralized production, right? I can see a factory where a customer will order a component and it will be manufactured and shipped to that customer without anybody touching it. No humans involved in the loop, and that's probably in the next 10 years. I can see micro factories around the world, so instead of having, cheap labor in Thailand or in Asia, you would have in Australia, in America, micro factories that are fully automated, where they have an automated cutting, folding, welding, painting, taxi, a full automated production process that allows full customization, minimum batch sizes, no deliveries from shipping. So, you're talking local distribution and shipping, and faster prices, faster deliveries at cheaper prices. So I think micro factories will become a thing. I think we'll see a lot more facilities popping up in key areas, and I'm hoping that we'll be part of that journey where we start to set up micro factories in different locations around the world. So that's the 2035, 2040 strategy. But 2030, it's about connecting all the software that we have, using AI as much as possible, and having that benefit of having the smartest person in the room being AI, and leveraging that as much as possible and connecting everything so that we can step back a bit more and allow technology to make the right, smarter decisions for us that will help us, advance the business in the right direction.
Say congratulations. Do you want to talk anything?
Do I want to talk anything else? No, I don't think there's anything else I need to say. I think, we've interviewed a lot of people already. The idea of these videos is to basically give you a glimpse, tiny little glimpse into probably 1% of the employees working in AMS, and probably 0.1% of everybody in ANCA, globally. But ANCA is a big business. It's got global reach. I wanted to give you a glimpse into the culture of AMS. I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse into the people behind what we do every day. And also to just communicate to our staff and to our customers, thank you so much for your support. Thank you to our suppliers, our customers, for their loyalty and constantly pushing us to do better. And I want to thank our staff for their contribution. Some of our staff have been with us for 20 years, and interviewing one of them the other day, it was really emotional. He was pretty much crying in the interview because he and a lot of the team here have invested a big portion of their lives into this business, and I'm just really, really proud that I can be the one that is the general manager right now when we start to grow exponentially at a point in time where AI is taking off, and humanoid robotics and automation and all these systems that are there to help us. And now we have the tools and the right people in the roles to help us grow that exposure. And that's what this video is about. This video is about sharing with you who we are and what we do a little bit. But it's more about recognizing the 20 years of service for some of our staff and the 20 years in Thailand. And I'm really proud to have played a 7-year part in that journey. And I'm looking forward to spending as much more time with AMS and with ANCA as I can to continue us on that journey. So, yeah. Say it loud.
Celebration.
Celebration.
Yeah. Celebration to ANCA.
Oh, yeah. So I suppose congratulations to ANCA Group on such a monumental 20-year celebration. Thank you for your support over the past 20 years for Thailand, and I look forward to seeing the next 20 years happening in Thailand and well beyond. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ